Attention all Phoenix and Scottsdale residents. Are you thinking about moving? Are you waiting to invest in real estate and start bringing in some passive income? Are you just curious about what's going on in the market? Then it's time to talk to a real estate professional. Make the smart move and call Dugan Grant with Berkshire Hathaway Home Service 480-506-7890 or Dugan at theCollinerCollective.com.
I watch, as a comfort for like multiple times. It just seems like
Yeah, Clockwork Orange is one of them for me.
I don't. I
That's
don't.
Rob's good night.
I don't know.
I watch Clockwork Orange, and I also like watching Planet of the Apes. I just love the Charlton Heston one so much.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's classic.
Charlton Heston one.
Oh yeah, that would be a great one.
Yeah, because I just could never get over. Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape! And I'm sure you're gonna laugh right now, Luke, because I'm gonna say, well, hi there, all our real sharks. It's your host and your humble host and lovely narrator, Rob, with his droogs. And it's a full house because we got Steve, Dave, and Lucas Maximus in the house, everybody. So it is a full-fledged show. So we're going to try to get away with some stuff and talking about all that crazy movie news and movie reviews. And let's just see what we can use right now. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So, did you guys catch that new show Wednesday?
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah,
I'm sure you like it, huh, Dave?
So
You like it, don't you?
Gives me real severe vibes.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to give it criticism over that. But I will say this. I just think it's weird that you have a show that first of all, ever since Riverdale, everybody's been doing this like Nancy Drew detective shit. And now I just feel like they just took the Addams Family and they just put that in there.
And you would be
They're all in
right.
the same universe, bro.
Huh?
They're all in the same universe.
Is it really?
Riverdale's in the same
Yeah.
universe as the Addams Family now?
You know what? Yeah, it feels like that, Rob.
Because Riverdale is right next to Greendale, which connects Sabrina. Sabrina is down the way from the Addams Family.
Well, I am pwned. Because I didn't know any of that. And I guess that adds, I would say that adds a little bit more substance. At least it's in the same universe context. But I don't know. I mean,
Doesn't make it good though.
You don't think it was good, Steve?
No.
Why don't you think it was good, Steve?
Wednesday or
Wednesday.
Wednesday. But I'm not a fan of Riverdale or any of that.
Neither am I. But
yeah, you're not gonna be a fan of it if you don't like Riverdale.
I mean, I don't like Riverdale, but I'm not saying it's bad, our audience. I'm not judging and Dave has already told you it's good. What I'm simply saying is I just think the premise of it is just this Nancy Drew Riverdale shit that just kind of I don't know. To me, it just kind of played out.
I kind of really enjoyed the Cruella.
Okay.
So if you liked Cruella, it's kind of within the same shit. They're giving you the same stuff. They're giving you a direct line to one of the main characters, and it leaves options for spinoffs. It leaves options for spinoffs, and they did not do it as a movie. That's a whole nother thing, because if it was a movie, we'd be given way more criticism. Right now, we have minute bits because it was a show. They did leave room for improvement. Because they could just cut it off right here, and then they could start with Pugsley next season. They could start with Lurch. They could start with Thing. We could see if Thing was a whole person. You never know.
That would fucking rule.
Yeah, there's a lot of if you like because it's mostly Wednesday Addams, played by Jenna Ortega.
Ortega, who is 20 years old, so any comments we make won't be illegal.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you make comments,
body down rolling.
Nobody's getting canceled.
You went from 16 to 17 too well. I'm just gonna let that go.
But do keep it in moderation.
Yeah, please.
She did do very well in that role, though. I will say that.
I would agree too, Dave. I feel like she's definitely she's owning this new role because this is basically a Gen Z Wednesday Addams. This is a Gen Z like Addams Family type of vibe, but they don't really focus on the Addams Family. They focus just on Wednesday. It's their show. So you just see the
Do they get
families
some
come in.
blip?
Like, yeah, like in the first episode, right, Dave? Like they kind of did it a little bit, and then like later a
didn't finish it,
little bit. Yeah, it was whack, but yeah, Rob, it's definitely like a who
Like,
did
yeah,
it.
it was whack, but you know.
Yeah, bro, it's I don't know how else to explain it. It's very much for teens.
Lit down here because I haven't seen it. I don't think Luke, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so
So
you
Judge,
two have
just
seen
me
it.
and
We
Dave.
got one. Yep, just you and Dave. One
100.
one
Luke,
like, one dislike.
Luke is 100 work hours in a week, man. He doesn't get to see anything. Okay.
I was gonna say, you know what's really, really funny though is like it doesn't matter because it will never beat out that damn Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix,
Oh,
apparently.
jeez. No,
Because
that's the top.
that was it's
time,
number
right?
one, man, and I think
Yeah.
Netflix should be ashamed
Beat
of
out
that.
Squid Games for number 1.
Dude, it beat
I
out
just
Stranger
finished-
Things.
Look,
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
know.
seen it.
Does
Only
does
because
anybody not think that's crazy?
how it beat
It
Stranger-
beat Stranger Things.
Just because it's like one of those things that nobody's gonna revisit. You can go back and watch Stranger Things. You're not gonna go
Right.
back fondly on Jeffrey Dahmer series
Or,
on Netflix.
I mean,
maybe.
I guess maybe you could.
I mean,
Maybe if you're a
maybe that's that. By the
It's-
way, Steve, I forgot to mention what my next sleeping movie is.
You have to remember, bro. People love Dexter. This is a real live Dexter.
That's true.
What? If
Come on.
Dexter ate his victims,
Yeah,
and he
and
ate black butt.
he
My
targeted
point
specifically.
my point is, you have a Caucasian male committing crimes that he's getting away with, and everyone's trying to wait and to see where he gets caught at. When does he get caught? How does he get caught? When does he get caught? Whether
Eating butt.
instead of them doing the research and reading on it like everybody else did when the shit was in the newspaper,
Right. They're watching
watching-
Netflix.
they're
They're
watching,
watching
it like
Netflix.
something's
They're
gonna-
watching it. Yeah.
That's a great point.
different. Like
That's
they're
so
watching it like it's gonna be a different depiction from the best writer who could have ever wrote it up on it. Like what? Like I don't know. And the fact that they pulled it from the LGBTQ community shit, it threw me because I was like, nah, they should have kept it. It is what it is. You guys, if you want the rights, have the rights. Yes, you guys have some fucking murderers in your camp, just like everyone else.
Mhm.
We got a couple hetero murders out here. You know, it's out there. It is what it is.
This
Just
guy's
like
eating butts.
It's some lesbian.
I don't care. This guy still ate butts, and I just don't find that interesting.
Yeah, bro. But I get what Dave. You know what? I
No,
will
I
say
get it.
this. Dave is giving a good point. You can catch serial killers if you read the newspaper more and stop watching the Wednesday Addams Netflix show. Do not watch that. Go catch a serial killer. Do good for
God.
humankind because again, I hate to like act like I'm trashing the show though, guys. It's not a bad show. It really isn't. There are good points on it. It's just the overall tone kind of sucks. It's kind of cool. They did bring back Christina Ricci as sort of
Okay. Well,
a
remember
mentor
different
type of
generations
role.
at one time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and then they had like some like noticeable actors. They had Gwendolyn Christine, who was well known, I guess, in Game of Thrones. It's just I don't know, man. It was a weird show. It just felt like it lost its luster. Like even the stuff they were building with this whole like who done it type of thing with the monster, and it
Okay,
lost itself.
I was able to point that out from jump because if you look at his spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna
Look
have
at
some
his
spoilers.
Fucking face.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Look
yeah.
at the monster's face. I'm not gonna say anything else other than that. If you cannot see the CGI that they did horribly with that, it's like, all right, okay, dude. It's like when they turn the werewolves into people, but they don't use the makeup. They just use the CGI.
They just used it. Yeah, it looked like that and a close up of that, Rob. But then it wasn't really about like the monster or the killings the monster's doing. It was more so just about like teenage stuff,
Yeah.
just with Wednesday Addams inserted into it. So you have to have a prom type of thing. You have to have two guys that are like fiending after her. You have to have her kind of being mean to people but learning a lesson. You know what I mean? She's like mean to Thing, by the way. And then she has to like
person. Why did Wednesday have to become a better person?
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
true.
Why do we need the?
Why do you need to
She's
take
part of
over
the
the
Addams
character?
family. It's like
Right.
why they're not like that's the whole
They
vibe.
want her to be a better person, but that's not her character.
That's not her character. So they kind of
do is they're trying to hero. I use the heroize.
No, that's true. Yeah.
They're trying to heroize the villains.
Speaking of heroes, though, sorry, Dave, to cut you off. Speaking of heroes, let me ask you guys a question here. I want to start with Luke on this one, and I'm going to go around the table. Luke, how important do you think Henry Cavill is to playing Superman on a scale from 1 to 10?
Oh, 1 to 10? I would say maybe about a 6.
Okay.
Mm.
Dave?
I would say he's done a good. I think he's done a good job as Superman.
Mm.
I don't think he has. I don't think there's ever been a moment where we're like, oh, only he can do Superman.
Interesting. Because it's okay. What do you think, Steve?
I agree. I would maybe go like an 8. I think he's
interesting.
The Man of Steel is kind of like one of those down the middle movies for a lot of people. They either like really, really love it or they don't really. Yeah, they hate it. But then they just seen Henry Cavill as, Superman for the last a couple films here, including the Justice League.
More than 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, more than 5 years. So that
Dave, I know you're not the biggest DC fan, but how important is Henry Cavill to you to play Superman?
0%. You know why?
Okay.
No.
Why?
Because one, he does not have the Superman build. How the hell is he supposed to stand next to Ben Affleck on screen and actually give the movie some substance?
Mm-hmm.
I just recently watched the Snyder cut of Justice.
Waste of time.
I feel like if they would have put that out before they put out the bullcrap version, it would have given DC a fighting chance within that Marvel universe.
They'd have screwed that up though.
I mean, they screwed it up from jump point because even within that story, it looks like it was too many flashbacks in real time. It's like, why are we having flashbacks in the middle of shit? Why isn't Flash just running back to check it? But Henry Cavill, 0%, because why? Who is this man? Why did you get him to play Superman? Like, I understand he's supposed to be the average Joe, but if you're gonna put an average Joe next to Ben Affleck, at least have him look better than that.
Okay.
Now, I will say he gave Superman the hairy chest. Brought back the hairy chest Superman.
He also rocked the new Superman suit that I think is pretty much more accepted now without the red tidy whities. I think people forget that too. That everyone freaked out when Zack Snyder was like, "I'm not going to put the tidy whities on." I was like, "No!" And then when you actually seen it, you're like, "Oh,
it looks good.
That looks good."
It's more, and it's more in line with the comics too. The new 52 version of Superman kind of looks similar.
I think it looks similar, but to me, I think Henry Cavill, I don't know. Personally, it's kind of like, for me, honestly, I think anyone can personally be Superman. Kind of like Batman, really. I don't think there should be any one person kind of to the movies, but they're kind of talking about it more and more right now to bring him back in the franchise because, as you know, he's not coming back anytime soon. But they are really looking to, like a lot of people are saying that DC needs Superman. Which, of course, we all know they do, and they need to have a Superman franchise that's healthy and growing. But it's never really happened. Has anyone ever really noticed that? Like a Superman franchise never really has stood the test of time.
Yeah,
like Batman's have.
Yeah,
these will not be as enticing as Batman's. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you
think that?
So why do you think we have the stories that we do have are the same ones we read in the comic books, are the same ones that we got in the 90s cartoon. This is
So you think lack of story is what keeps Superman franchise in the dark?
Lack of interest in the story, because
I will give you this, because if I see Lex Luthor in one more goddamn Superman film, I'm gonna have a heart attack too.
Well, I mean, the Lex Luthors that they've been portraying,
dude, Superman has more than Lex Luthor as a villain. I mean, come on.
Where's Brainiac? Like, you could bring in some sick people. Where's Doomsday? They didn't even go there.
I would say let's first break down what's happened to Superman. when they tried to do that. Like the first attempt was Superman Returns.
Right.
With the Bryan Singer. Now that one was specifically trying to go for the Richard Donner films. That was basically just trying to continue the Richard Donner films in today's time. Weirdly, if I recall, it at least made its money back. It did pretty well, and critics were mostly okay with it.
Yeah, because it had a budget of $204 million and a box office $391 million.
What was the numbers?
$204 million as a budget, and box office $391 million.
So it was $200 million the budget.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, and it's a big movie, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because you had Kate Bosworth, Kevin Spacey, James Marsden, Parker Posey, Sam Huntington.
We look at those numbers because in paper the idea is the movie needs to make twice its budget to make its money back. I would say with the case of Superman, they probably needed to make 3 times the budget.
Yeah, because of all the special effects. I mean, that's not that much if you think about it. Like in the long
run. What's funny is that would be a good amount of would be good if they didn't spend so much goddamn money on the thing.
Right.
So you can kind of see why they didn't go forward with that, because it just cost too much money and they didn't get their money back. Then we had Superman. Then we had Man of Steel. That one was just weird. It was.
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was
like Steve said, it's right down the middle, man. I think it's
people either like it or hate it.
All over the fucking place. It just kind of feels weird. It's just a very weird vibe.
Because they made it dark, and Superman's not dark.
No,
like he's just not dark.
He's Mr. Boy Scout for a reason.
Hear me out.
Dark superheroes already. Like we don't need. So it doesn't make sense. I guess in the future, the thing is that we don't have a frame of reference. I think in the case, it's different from Batman because we have good Batmans to put up against really bad Batmans. We have good Batmans, we have bad Batmans. We can say these are the Batmans that worked, these are the Batmans that didn't work. With Superman, we don't really have a good frame of reference with what makes a solid Superman film yet. We have things that kind of get there and are okay. We don't have something we can definitively point to, other than some animated stuff. But even then, we really can't definitively say that's what Superman should be. So whatever they do next, it's gonna be hard to say because we don't have real. Actually, I take that back. The only frame of reference we do have is the original 1970s Richard Donner movie. But
Christopher Reeve.
If we're being real serious, if we're being honest with ourselves, how many people younger than 40
absolutely no, you're 100, and that movie has not aged well.
There. Yeah, and the thing is, I like the movie. I do. There are parts that are good.
But is it nostalgia or is it just a good Superman movie?
Nostalgia.
It's a big pile of who cares.
Yeah, you're not gonna go back and go gee, I can't. Superman 4: Quest for Peace was a great.
Right. I can't remember the last time I rewatched a Superman film compared to a Batman one. I'd say definitely there is there's still room for Superman. And I'm gonna go a little bit here, probably a little bit on the dramatic side here of the love for comics that I have, and especially Superman. I mean, actually, I used to hate Superman, but unfortunately, he's a superhero DC needs. It really is true because
he's part of the big 3 for DC, right?
He really is. But what I think is hard though too, especially with the Superman film, is unlike an animated film, is it's hard to portray Superman as being vulnerable so easily like they can in the animated films. It really is,
without using kryptonite of any sort,
Yeah, or some kind of magic or anything like that, because they want to do this whole more realism thing. But when it comes to Superman, I think as the idea, as the story, I think it's really needed because, and like I said, I'm going to go more on the drama side. He's the immigrant. He's the immigrant that has literally come from another planet that looks like us, that chooses to be one of us and not suppress us. He actually takes his way, time out of day to try and be one of us.
If you're going to touch on that, then he's the first immigrant. Then let's do that. Because
he's the first immigrant.
He was the first immigrant from another planet to come down, and then we had to figure out if we were going to accept him or not. The difference was he came down in the Great Depression, dog. They didn't have a choice but to accept him. He was Jesus. Like, dude could walk on water. Like, and then
Well, that's see that again. He can walk on water basically, but he chooses not to oppress people with those powers. He tries to be one of us, not oppress us. That's what makes Superman a dynamic character.
Yes.
But if you think about it, like, I know we probably moved past it, but it was something. It was something Luke was
Yeah.
talking
What was
about.
your point though? Yeah, you were making a point though.
Luke was talking about it heavy about how the CGI. It's going to be a very heavy CGI movie if it's a Superman movie.
Has to be.
Can we really say that CGI has moved forward enough to actually give us what we're looking for with the Superman movie?
That's hard. That's a hard question. And and I'm sorry, we're going to go off a little off topic because I was having this discussion with someone the other day and it came to Jurassic Park. Because I said when you look at the special effects of Jurassic Park, they still hold up to this day.
Yeah.
I was like,
Jurassic Park 1, right?
They're barely starting to get kind of aged. But you know, it's funny because other times when you look at other movies that have attempted such grandeur stuff, it just doesn't look good. You know, like Superman, for example, when he's running along the train, all they did was speed up his frame rate in the film. So he's just like, you know, and it looks, maybe at the time it looked really cool in 1978, but it looks stupid now. I mean,
what about the now CGI? I mean, I know it's one instance and it's kind of stupid, but the whole mustache
depends on the
CGI thing.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it does
depend. It depends on the work.
The live action TV shows we get have better CGI than the movies we're getting. Now let's just be honest with that. I can look at Stargirl. I can look at The Flash. I can look at Arrow.
Flash is pretty good on the special effects department. I am impressed with that show on that.
A lot of those within the Arrowverse had very good CGI. Like, think about how they changed Martian Manhunter every episode in Supergirl. That was some real CGI, dog. Like, that took time.
Let me, Luke, have you seen the new Flash show?
On CW?
Yeah.
I forget how many seasons, but I watched a lot of it.
Let me ask you something, and this kind of goes to Dave's point, and I know you're a fan of this show. At least I think you are. I'm pretty sure you used to watch it. How would you compare the newer superhero shows like The Flash to something like Smallville?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, the difference, I would say, what you
special effects wise, first of all, let's go with the special effects department.
It's all TV stuff, so it all looks garbage. It all looks like garbage.
No filter.
You just gotta like deal with it. It's just like, yep, that looks really bad. That looks like absolute shit.
Okay.
They're definitely different vibes because Smallville was kind of like it was more of a teen drama with a sense of Monster of the Week. It veered especially more, I think, into Monster of the Week. I didn't watch too much Smallville. Flash is a full blown superhero procedural. It's if anything. Because with Smallville, I think back then, when superhero stuff wasn't as big, it was still kind of gaining momentum. That they were still
people
trying to
love Smallville, though. I know people that die hard about that shit.
They're like,
there was definitely, like, as I understand, there was a lot of stuff people liked. So
I mean, there was a petition to get him to be Superman in Superman Returns.
Yes,
I remember that. Yeah,
he'd be pretty solid. He would have been a pretty solid Superman.
You have to think about what Smallville was in its entirety, dude. It was the first superhero drama. Like, it was the first superhero fallout.
Some others, I mean, towards teens, I would say, because we also had Lois and Kent before, which is about like.
That's a successor to that, and then that's what it had to live up to, and it wasn't as funny, quirky as that one was, because it was Lois and Clark was a whole different. That was more so Three's Company vibe.
I was gonna say,
it was
like, compared to Smallville was like Seventh Heaven, Dawson's Creek,
because it was more towards the teens, more towards people like growing up. like our age.
That superhero creep vibe from Buffy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's
In
bringing up.
fact-
He is Davis. I would agree with Dave because Smallville was huge. I remember when they were like
I rewatched
building to
Okay.
the Doomsday episode and
Right.
people freaking out about it, and I
That's
was
it.
like, dang, people love Superman like this, and I had never
No.
seen it at that point.
No, they didn't though. That's the point. Is no one loved Superman like that. But no one also gave about anybody else who was in the show. No one cared about when Arrow came. No one cared about him. Because
Sure.
Arrow, if you look at it, Arrow was also the first Aquaman. And unless you really watch, you don't know.
You talking about Arrow, the CW show?
No, I'm talking about Oliver in Smallville. He was the first Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
They have
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
they have like
Yeah.
Aquaman,
Yeah,
dude.
Oliver Queen.
And I watched it.
I was
and
gonna say, have you ever seen that part in Entourage? I was like, for a long time, that was as close to Aquaman as we were gonna ever get.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know our audience, the show Entourage once had a character that was playing Aquaman in a movie, and it was one of the most funniest things you've ever seen. It's basically how they made the Dragon Ball film.
Shout out to Entourage.
Yep, shout out to Entourage.
Show
So
was better than the movie.
I got a review I want to do real quick,
Okay.
guys.
Uh,
I'm going to talk about a movie I actually recently saw that I was actually really, really impressed with. I actually talked about it with Steve on another episode, but that episode, technical difficulties, we didn't get out to our audience. But I want to do a review of Elvis 2022.
Oh my God, yes, I just watched this.
And this starred Austin Butler, Tom Hanks, Decree Montgomery, Olivia DeJonge, Luke Bracely, and Sunoka Dukirk. It's got a 7.4 on IMDb. I'd actually give it a little higher than that. 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. This film had a box office 286 million. Yeah, it's pretty good. Director was Baz Luhrmann, and I'm just gonna start out. I'm gonna start out by saying this is probably the best Elvis film that has ever been made, like hands down. This is it. This is the top, the cream of the crop. There's probably never going to be another one like this. The budget for this film was incredible. The costumes, the design of the sets was amazing. Tom Hanks as the Colonel, incredible. I mean,
well, yeah.
you didn't even recognize him at first. I had to double take it every time. But one of the best things too was Austin Butler's Elvis was incredible.
It made up Pinocchio.
He was really, really. I would say, in being an Elvis fan, I would say he was really close to an older Elvis than a younger Elvis, because younger Elvis has just a slightly higher tone than he did. But the movie, I thought itself was really brilliant in the sense of it showed why Elvis Presley was controversial at first. It showed why, people thought Elvis, like why, Elvis was banned in a lot of places, why they said he couldn't dance. He had to go to the military because they were literally going to throw him in jail for dancing. They literally thought when they heard him sing, like, this is a black guy singing this stuff, so we can't be showing. But when they found out he was white, they freaked out even more, because they're like, how can a white guy be singing all this Southern music with the blues and stuff and the jazz and mixing it all together and calling it rock and roll? That's controversial. And it's not just because he also was with a 16-year-old chick. I know Dave was going to bring that up. I'm not.
Yeah.
She was 15.
But that's neither here nor there. The film itself, though, portraying Elvis, I would say it's grand, and I would put it in between. I would actually put it below Ray, but above Walk the Line, in the sense of those biography musical movies, because it was good. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought everything Austin Butler did as Elvis Presley was right on. And I'm just happy they kind of portrayed more of the real person who Elvis was instead of the legend that he was. They get away from the legend, which I think is better.
I appreciate that, because it brings Elvis back down to earth rather than making him this godly figure. And I'm not a big Elvis person. I think when me and Rob were talking about this, Rob likes Elvis. I think he's just okay. You know what I mean? I can give or take Elvis type of thing. I'm not going to actively seek any Elvis music, but I felt like this was a good representation of how they portrayed Elvis in a way. You know, I think Austin Butler was okay. At first, I wasn't really sold. I looked at him, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. But then as the film went on, and it went on, because this is a long ass film, but I liked it, man. I felt like it was good. It was okay for what I watched.
Would you say my place for it is correct? Below Ray, but above Walk the Line?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's right. That's fair. Walk the Line was cool. It was all right at the time, but I felt like this one is a cut above that film. But I mean, you're not touching Ray. Ray's just incredible. It's the top, but this is definitely there.
And before I move on to Luke here, I also want to say too, one of the interesting things that's hard to do, I think, especially in new age film, which I just want to touch base on, special effects wise, what we were talking about earlier, is the sets and everything in this film, because you've only really seen Elvis in a lot of black and white in his younger years. Mm-hmm. And this film actually showed a lot more color, and it was vibrant, and it was nice, and it just looked good, and it didn't look silly. His costumes didn't look stupid. It actually, everything looked good. So, did you see the movie, Luke?
Yeah.
Did you see Elvis?
I did see Elvis. I really liked it too. And yeah, like I think Baz Luhrmann was really a good choice for Elvis. Really, I love the visual flair of it. It definitely took this sort of heightened reality that made it interesting than other traditional biopics.
Right.
So it definitely felt much more entertaining. And it kind of felt okay when like the dramatic license came, because it felt not as, it felt more, like I said, heightened and all that. But yeah, I thought it was really, 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 yet again, I used to not give him as much. I didn't give a fuck about Elvis. This movie, like, I think more so than just talking about Elvis's life, it really was an examination about like Elvis's place in the world at that time, where he came from, why he rose the way he did, and then most specifically, like what he meant to the world then and what he kind of means now. I think biopics, like, they like to really emphasize how certain people are important. They all, obviously, every biopic will always emphasize the importance of the person in the story, but I think this one did a really good job of really like letting us know, like, for especially younger people who don't understand why Elvis was what he was. It's like, this is how you know that this guy was like maybe the single most famous musician of like the 20th century. Maybe
absolutely
next to the Beatles. Is close to that.
Dave, you got a lot to say, I can tell. What do you got to say about this film?
One, whoever was in charge of marketing this movie did a horrible job, because
I'll agree to that. I will agree. It did not get a lot of PR.
Yes. I had no clue it was even out. I walked by in the movie theater and I thought it was already like something that came out before and they just forgot to take it down. They had no great marketing on that, because one, nobody knew it was out. Two, if they were going to market it, they should have marketed it to the cultures of color, because that's what this movie really depicted. It gave us a real standpoint on where Elvis was, if you did not know, for all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren who say Elvis stole the black culture. No, bro, he was damn near black. He was the first Eminem. He was the first Eminem. Like,
love it. Yeah.
Pretty much. You look at it, bro. He was the first Eminem, bro. He grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. He learned at a black church. He caught the Holy Spirit. Like, what are you talking about? This man. And then if you look at what they tried to do to him when they tried to lock him up, who else did they try to do that to? I mean, of course, we have a lot of
anybody who has a brilliant idea in history. Take Galileo, for example.
Yeah, they have to shackle you. And
okay, well, let's talk.
Oh, I thought you were implying that like Galileo stole his idea from black people. Like,
no, I'm trying to say brilliant minds scare people.
Let's talk musicians though. NWA, Uncle Luke, and who else? Too Short. All of these people within history have went up against the government for their music, whether it was expression of self, expression of words, beat style, whatever the case is. They've all had damn near the exact same case as Elvis had. And what happened? They all beat it because he beat it. If there was no K, if there was no, I don't know what his middle name was, damn it. Something Presley, damn it. If there was no case,
Aaron.
Elvis Aaron Presley.
Mhm.
If there was no case, Elvis Aaron Presley versus I don't know what state tried to lock him up. I think it was his home state, if I'm incorrect. So if it wasn't Elvis Aaron Presley versus Memphis, Tennessee, there would be no case in the law book for other people to get off of that. So again, Elvis made it easier for black people in music.
Like Irish people made it easy for English people to dance. Come on. I gotta have some history buffs here. Come on here, Steve. I know you got, because for those of you who don't know, the English ones outlawed dancing.
Yeah.
And so the Irish used to have to do river dancing where they stand there and just dance so they couldn't see their legs. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, fiddling. Well, they brung that over, the fiddle dance, and then they just, yeah.
Come on now, give me some credit there.
I wasn't expecting that, but okay. I'm gonna roll with it.
What else?
Now, Dirty Dancing, Kevin Bacon. All right.
Kevin Bacon wasn't in. Was he Kevin Bacon in Dirty Dancing?
No, Kevin Bacon
No,
was
He was in Footloose.
It was in
Oh, he
Footloose.
was in Footloose. Yeah, Patrick Swayze was Dirty Dancing.
He was Dirty Dancing. Did you guys see that thing about Kevin Spacey allegedly paying off DJs, local DJs that he goes to not play the soundtrack Footloose?
Wait, what? You mean Kevin Bacon?
Yeah,
Not
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon.
Spacey. Kevin Spacey pays off
Not,
people.
yeah, not Kevin Spacey. Kevin Bacon. Excuse me.
Kevin
Talk about it.
I can believe that. He's old enough with a little bit of.
Yeah, he's like,
got a little dick in him
do
still.
not play this. I will pay you extra.
It is. I actually just looked this up. Claim actor Kevin Bacon would pay wedding DJs at events he attended to not play Kenny Loggins' song Footloose from Bacon's hit 1984 film at the same name. Fact checked by Snopes. True.
Rom,
That
survey says
that probably had to be a couple of points of tension because you had to imagine someone in the wedding. You know, Kevin Bacon's at the wedding, and they're like, "Oh, Kevin Bacon's there." And they're like,
Yeah.
"We should request it." And then they go up to the DJ and they're like, "Hey, can you guys play Footloose?" And they're like, "Sorry, he paid me money to not play it."
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Could you imagine that?
Imagine
Right?
that. You
The
just
guy
get
who's like
turned
thinking he's
down.
clever, like, yeah, I'm gonna go pull this shit on Kevin Bacon, man.
He cut you off at the
No.
pass.
Think about this. What if he pays more than Kevin Bacon?
I wonder if that's happened
Yeah.
once.
Oh my.
I bet you that's happened
Dropping,
one time. He's like,
3 bands on the man. Like, play Footloose.
But back to the movie. The movie very much was an amazing movie. It really did, like, as much as we have talked about it, it really did give Black Hispanic culture a lot insight. Bro, you got to see Little Richard start. You got to see BB King start. You got to see so many of the greats within that one spot because those are who inspired him. Those are the people he came up with. Instead of them shying away from it and just making it an Elvis heavy movie, yes, it was his biopic, but they still gave the importance and the time that it deserved to the right people.
This
And
is something that I don't think I've ever seen before with the music biopic. I've never seen a music biopic that's ever used other people's music. Or
Yes.
used anachronism. It's
Because I also heard
they've always used either the musician or the band's music
right.
across the way. I thought that is an interesting amount of confidence to be
They
like
played Doja Cat.
exactly. It's like they didn't care. Well, not so much as they didn't care, but it's like they had the confidence to be like, well, you're going to stick around for this. We're not going to give you all Elvis all the time.
Now, look,
I think I think lends itself again going back to the impact of Elvis. That it's like giving you tastes of all the other music as well. Give you these other things that, like, Elvis is just one part of this. His music is just one part of this. So
I would have loved to do Elvis on a
So
for that.
let's go around and just give it our scores. I'd honestly give this one. I give it an 8. I know Steve's gonna say, oh,
No. I give it an 8 too. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's good. Yeah, it was good.
You give it a 10. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I like that.
That's a perfect film for Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think, Luke?
I give this 9 Kevin Bacons.
Wow,
this-
so you scored pretty high around the board here on Real Sharks. I mean, wow, that's an 8 and up, everybody. So that's a highly recommended film that we're giving you right now is to see the new Elvis film.
Now, quick spot. Just
Yeah.
quick. The Elton John film. How does everyone feel about that?
They're coming out with an Elton John film?
I haven't
Yes,
seen
Well,
that.
no, the Elton John biopic, Rocket Man. You talking
Yeah,
about?
Rocket Man. I
Yes.
didn't see that actually. Now that I'm thinking about
Yeah,
it, I haven't seen that one
Rocket
yet.
Man was fine. I felt like it was
Oh, Rocket
good.
Man. There's only one Rocket Man to me, and that's the Disney one.
The Disney
that's-
film. Oh my God, Rob.
Dude, Steve knows that's like one of the 1997 Rocket Man, dude.
Rocket
That's like
Man
one of
with
my
the
favorite
monkey and
movies
that
of all time.
guy.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
I love Harold Williams, man. I love him.
That's
Dude.
his name, Harold Roy. That guy
Yeah.
was, dude. He was hitting it around that time, bro. Like that.
Rocket
Was,
Man was incredible.
It's a shame. He had a little bit of a peak. He had like a because he was in that. It's funny that Harold Lloyd was like he did Rocket Man, which was explicitly a Disney movie, and then I think a year later he did Freddy Got Fingered.
he did,
So it's
yeah.
like-
Right. It's
And he did
interesting.
Half Baked
Killed his
too. Like he was
Disney.
in. That was the next year too.
He did have a really interesting career, and you know what's funny too? I mean, Rocket Man is one of those Disney films too. We talk about that kind of gets under the radar, like it was kind of stuck. It came out, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
advertised like this is a
No.
major premiere Disney film. It
Not
was like,
Ricky.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
The
absolutely not.
What
it was
whatever
weird.
his name
I can
is, that
see
was
how
that
like
was
yeah.
all over the place because it had that little fat white kid in it, whatever his name is, from 2.5 Men. Like
Oh my God.
he was dude's son, I think, in the movie, and that movie was all over the place. I remember The Rookie so much. I remember The Rookie being more. I remember The Rookie having more.
Which movie are you talking about?
The Rookie, the baseball.
Oh, the
movie.
rookie. Oh, the rookie.
Oh, the Rookie. I see.
Yeah, not Rookie of the Year, which got no publicity whatsoever. Also,
All right. Oh, you're talking about 1990s, the rookie, right?
yes.
Okay. Oh wait,
Mhm.
or is it 2002, the rookie? Which one?
It's got. I think dude looked like.
Is
Bruce
it Dennis Quaid?
There you go.
It
That's
must be
The Rookie?
okay. Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
That's
where
Yeah,
he-
that's the
solid
Dennis Quaid
movie.
one.
Yeah.
That is a solid movie, actually.
Yeah.
it
Uh,
was.
It's
it
one of
was-
the better baseball movies.
Dang.
was-
You know what? You're
supposed to.
You're completely right, Rob, about this man, Harold. Because he is one of those actors. He's one of those guys that you think of like this, because like we're talking about this Rocket Man being funny, but he's also had like one of those prolific careers where it's dang near a success. Like he's been in a lot of these films we've obviously seen, and they're all films that are just like Freddy Got Fingered, for instance. That's a film that people like. It's a
I love
love it
that
or
movie.
hate it. Yeah, it's a love it or hate it film, dude.
Freddy
I
Got
remember
Fingered
people
is
being
one of my
like,
favorite movies.
"Oh, it sucks
Yeah.
so bad," but then
No.
you go back and look at it and like, "Oh no, it was actually clever." Like this
It was
is
clever.
incredible. When the guy's holding up the sign, like, "When is this movie gonna end?" That's like one of the things that like stood out. I'm like, yeah, dude, there were some funny minds behind this film. Tom Green was hitting it hard too. And
I don't care, dude. When I was a Tom Green fan at the time, and I really don't
like
care.
Tom Green show.
I tell people when he got in that deer, I was fucking dying because that's Tom Green,
Yeah.
dude. When he's like inside the
You're
animal,
so good.
that's what he does. That's Tom Green's humor. But back to Rookie though, I was gonna say though that's one of the better baseball movies ever done. And that movie actually really propelled Dennis Quaid. Well, actually, Dennis Quaid has always kind of been this kind of.
Dennis Quaid has always been Dennis.
Yeah, he's always
When
been
they
Dennis
first, whenever he made it to GQ, he was one of GQ's sexiest men alive. After that, it was a wrap.
Really? I did not
Look
know that. That is hilarious. That's great.
Look,
Kudos
Him
to
and
him.
George were both.
These days he mostly does like he just does a lot of like Christian stuff or Hallmark stuff.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
now
And he's also like and then he kind of fluctuates between like
he was the Christmas
Alcohol
dad long time, dude.
You're absolutely right. I'm looking at it right here.
I remember that because I was like, how the
fuck
fuck did he get up there with George Clooney?
He does kind of look like shit now too.
Yeah.
Dennis, you don't look like shit. You look great. Don't worry.
Well, it's not his fault. Well, I mean, it's kind of his
It's
It's
fault.
kind of his fault,
because
Luke.
he can't stop boozing. He's like 60. That'll fuck you up, Dennis.
Went right.
Somebody
to the
recently
face.
came out in the news, and I know we're kind of going around the table here on some of these topics, our audience, but they're just so interesting because some of them are better and juicier than some of the movies that have been out lately. Did you guys see Kevin Costner kind of destroyed his career in an instant?
Yeah. Why did he
Why
do that, man?
His politics, and he said
Yeah.
that he doesn't care what people think about his politics.
Oh, is he a Trump
Guess what?
supporter?
Guess
Yeah.
what?
He's one of he's got some choice commentary, and he's which is interesting because he's part of one of the bigger shows on television currently running right now, Yellowstone, and he's a lead.
The thing is, Yellowstone, as far as I know, it's like a really big show with Republicans. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Hear me,
I've watched it. I mean, it's okay.
hear me this. I'm third party all the way. Good fucking job for him. He stood on his beliefs, just like everyone else should.
I don't care. I don't care about his politics. I still like the man because, dude, he's Danced with Wolves.
Dance with the Wolf. No, I mean you meant to say Waterworld. That's the movie you should have said.
I think his best movie is Waterworld. frankly.
Waterworld.
No, I'm not gonna look past the. We're not gonna look past the politics for the filmography because then we're gonna have to give R. Kelly a goddamn spin for his money because he came out with a whole movie, dog. It was
What
30
movie?
parts.
Oh,
Nigga,
Oh,
had like
Trap
I
in
don't
the
know how many.
Closet. Don't. Luke has
really
Luke has a very heartfelt connection to that song, right, Luke?
Why?
Remember when we were in high school and you did that to the substitute teacher when that fucking song first came out? That's the one where it's like, I grabbed my gun. He's like, I walked to the closet.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you used to sing that damn R Kelly song like.
I fucking loved that song.
He said, "Damn, it's a midget."
I fucking loved that series. It was and if anything, well, there's a lot of things that were said about the R. Kelly thing. I would say the fifth saddest thing is that it tainted the legacy of Trapped in the Closet.
Oh, Trapped in the Closet, right?
Well, and see, I'll agree with you again, Dave. You can give R. Kelly a pass on his music. You don't have to give him a pass on a person. I give Kevin Costner a pass on his films.
No, well, R. Kelly's music is harder because, like, knowing that all of his music is coming from an avowed pedophile and cultist, all of a sudden, like, all of the music sounds worse. It's like I don't.
A hemeophile or some shit. It's not pedophile because he like.
Okay, well, if we're gonna split hairs, he's still raped.
Right.
And it was like can't break that down without sounding like a pedophile.
So you guys aren't gonna watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves anymore because this guy is
Totally.
just some type of.
No, I'm not gonna watch it because the Disney version's better.
Yeah.
Why would I fucking watch? Why would I watch Prince of Thieves when there's the Disney?
I'd rather watch Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Why? I was gonna say, why would I want to watch The Guardian or Wyatt Earp or Open Range or Message in a Bottle?
Message in a Bottle, yeah.
Or JFK anymore. God, fucking JFK.
Don't ruin that film.
He was also Mr. Brooks, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, this
See,
is another guy.
That's all I'm saying. That's Kevin Costner's repertoire. You know, I personally, I've always liked his movies, and I'm not gonna stop watching movies.
I feel like politics have no standing in Hollywood. Period.
No, I don't think so. Not in films.
No.
Politics and music shouldn't be crossed. Politics and Hollywood shouldn't be crossed in politics.
But see, like I tell people, if that's your choice, if you just honestly can't look away from someone like that, like if you can't honestly look at Kevin Spacey anymore, and you're just like that dude, I can't see him anymore. I get it. I understand it.
Mel Gibson made a whole movie about Jesus became a Scientologist.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, you know, you can hate the man, still like his films.
Are you
Everyone
gonna
still
watch?
likes
Yeah,
Braveheart.
and that's what I'm saying. And speaking of Kevin Spacey, he is trying to make his return to Hollywood in some way and to films. But yeah, it is one of those
What's the
things
girl
where it's
movie
like
Kevin
weird.
Smith?
Where are
What's
you
the
going to
girl
stop
movie?
watching a man's catalog altogether? Altogether, because again, does he have to be a lead? Does he have to be somebody who's just in the film?
Might I
just
add
cut it
too? I
off?
just want to point this out. He did win his lawsuit. He
Right,
won.
he did. Yeah.
He won it. So yeah, he was found to, well, supposedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
those
And
things.
since we're just adding tidbits, like I said, I just rewatched Justice League, and this is really just a little tidbit. Amber Heard, I'd give you the turd, shorty.
Yeah, she's another one. Let's like, will you stop watching? Like, will you not watch that new Aquaman film anymore?
That's
Or
funny because I've seen a lot of hate towards Amber Heard.
It's
Everyone's like,
really hard
Aquaman would be
to
better if she
watch
wasn't
it.
in it.
It's hard to watch it, but it's harder to watch it because
or Pineapple Express. You
what
gonna not
she
watch
did
that film?
Johnny. I'm a Johnny Depp fan. Like I didn't know who she was until I didn't even know who she was in Aquaman, dog. Like I didn't know who she was in the movie. I knew after when they went to court that
She's
he
that
got to the role.
that buff guy that with the black hair.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Amber Heard she was Aquaman, right?
She was Aquaman, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was
See,
Aquaman.
She has tattoos. Is that her?
I
Hey,
had
Jason, let's start a club, the Momoa twins, huh?
Oh my god!
The men who look like Momoa. Let's start. I want to start the men who look like the Momoa fan club, Jason. I want you to make sure you certify it though, because I'm gonna start the Momoa fan club with him.
I literally had
the body double.
It's gonna be like Nambla, but only Jason Momoa.
Oh, it's gonna be like Nambla.
we got
Not that other one. This is the Marlon Brando lookalikes.
Okay. You
Yeah,
really gotta clarify. You really gotta clarify. Starting an organization that's gonna be like Nambla.
it's harder to watch because of what I know about her now. I will say that. But I didn't know who she was, nor gave a shit about her. I didn't even know she was an actor before that.
Actress.
Same shit. Same shit.
I know. I should have said this.
There you go.
There you go.
Which he can be a
According
thespian
to
all he
Nicolas
wants. I'm
Cage,
why I
very
rewatched.
weird.
I rewatched Ghost Rider 2. Both of them, dude. You could be a thespian all you want. You still need to do better. You are no.
Damn, dude, you're shooting shots at Nick already. Damn.
I love Nicolas Cage. I love him for National Treasure. I love him for Da Vinci's Code. But what I do not love him. No, I'm sorry. That was Tom Hanks in Da Vinci Code. What I do love him for is those 2 National Treasure movies. But I do not love him as an action hero. You could have been the next Indiana Jones, bro.
No love for Con Air, bro.
No, wow.
Face Off for you?
No, yeah, no face off. No Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, I know, right? The Rock.
Gone in 60 Seconds, but I'll give him Con Air. Gone in 60 Seconds was also. It gave us the reason for Fast and Furious. Like I understand where it was going.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
But they did not hit the marker with it because I don't know. It's just Nick Cage in that so cool, smooth. Like, dude, you're so like, you already played some. Like, you look like someone's grandpa, dog. Like, I remember you from the family.
Yeah.
Okay?
He was just too old, dude. He was like getting on around that time, and they
that's
had him in a
fair.
leather
Yeah.
jacket.
Like I said, he could have been the next Indiana Jones. He could have taken over that mantle instead of them trying to give it the fucking
They
shot.
still give it to Harrison Ford because he's playing starring in the new Indiana Jones
and
movie.
yeah.
Definitely because Shia LaBeouf
Here's the thing. It's like they talked about they de-aged Harrison Ford a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like they made him go from 80 to 60. That's how that's how ineffective the de-aging. Like we have to de-age him to make him just like super old, not
super
extremely
old. You're just old now. You're not decrepit like you are now. So we're going to have to
He looks like going to die immediately.
they set up to be the successor, though. Look at it.
Shia LaBeouf. But is he even in the film?
Shia-
Is he in the
Shia's
new-
not-
I don't think he's
Crystal
there.
Skulls. Yes, he was in Crystal Skulls.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And
Was
he had
I don't think there was. I think the other actor is Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, he
He's
played
the guy who was his goddaughter. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see him attached to this one.
I don't
No,
think he's in this.
Meltdown. He's not in Hollywood anymore, bro.
Yeah, because he's too hard to work with. That was my next point. Is he's
No,
way too hard to work with.
He's like doing his artsy indie
He's
style.
way too method acted.
Yeah, for
in
this.
method acting.
Method
But we
acting.
have Matt Mikkelsen as the main villain for this new Indiana Jones film. But that's pretty good.
So.
As long as it doesn't have
Okay, wait.
aliens.
Yeah.
Xenomorph comes out. That's what Indiana Jones is
The
fighting.
Beast.
Hmm?
Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Has anyone seen that commercial?
Oh, yeah, they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
straight up. It
Beast
looks
Wars.
like Beast Wars. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
Beast
I'm
Wars.
Interesting.
so hyped.
I
hyped.
told you, trailers are deceiving.
I know.
Don't.
That's my childhood. That's my.
Dude,
whole
I know. Beast Wars was awesome, man. I used to
Right.
watch Beast Wars too.
Me
So
too.
I still have my.
can't
Beast
wait
Wars
to see that one. That actually is more exciting to me than Transformers, the one with
Is that
Shia
more?
LaBeouf, ironically.
Is that one more surprising or more interesting to you, or the second trailer to the Mario Brothers movie, which has people mixed up right now?
Okay, now Mario Brothers.
That's a hard question.
I'm scared because I don't think that they should put a lore to Mario Brothers. We already have what we have. The fact that you're putting Chris Pratt in it, they should have went and got Danny DeVito.
It's interesting. Okay.
Danny DeVito.
He's so
Live
old.
action
Yeah,
with a Mario
Danny
trailer looks pretty good though.
DeVito and like who else? Who else? Give me Danny DeVito and a good Joe Pesci as Luigi, bro. And I would have loved this movie so much more.
Just a mobster version of
The Mario Brothers?
Mario
Bro,
Brothers just being
Italian brothers.
mobsters.
Italian Brothers, there you go.
Big pipes.
That's the real movie.
Oh my god, just cursing up a storm. Hey, yo, Mario.
All right, guys. So this has actually been this episode of the Real Sharks podcast with your host, Rob. Of course, Steve, Dave, and Lucas Maximus. And we're gonna say we're gonna and we're gonna say good night to everyone, and we will catch you on the flip side. Make sure you to listen, like, and subscribe, and listen to us on all podcast platforms or Google us, including Twitch. And make sure you check out our shirts at jaggedtoothco.com and help support the show. Have a good night, everybody.